All right, let me set this up real quick. Everything's messed up now. There we go. We are live. We're back. It's been a minute since we've been live, but I want to welcome everybody back. Be sure y'all share, like, subscribe. This is episode 10 of Behind the Lanes, presented by Hallmark Bowling Shoes, the first high-top bowling shoe in the game. So be sure to check them out for a variety of styles, colors, interchangeable soles, whatnot at hallmarkshoes.com. I have a special co-host today, Mr. Ronald Brown. What's going on, Ronald?
Not much. How about you, JR?
Not too much, man. Just living it one day at a time.
Yeah, it sounds like you're working a lot too.
Yeah. Work's been crazy with everybody coming back to work in Washington, D.C., so we've been pretty busy. Well, tonight we got a special guest joining us, Dave Johnson, PBA member. So be sure y'all like, share, subscribe, and get your questions ready for Dave. We got some people in right now. Carl, what's up, Carl? Thanks for joining, man. So let's get right to it and bring Dave in. How's it going, Dave?
Good. How you doing?
Not too bad. I want to thank you for taking your time to join us tonight.
No problem. Glad to be here.
Thank you. All right, man. So let the people know where you're from and what you do for a living.
I'm from Ashtabula, Ohio, and now all I do is bowl.
Sounds like a good life.
Yes, I love it. Travel the country.
Travel the country. Nice. So who or what got you into bowling, and how long have you been bowling for?
Well, I'm 63 years old, and my father got me into bowling when I was about 5.
Okay. So
I was on tour in 1981 with Ted Hanna's. I traveled 8 weeks for him, and then I dropped out because I got a job at the local electric company. And it's funny because I set a record for 42 years between regional titles.
Oh, man.
When I got back in. So now it's all I do. For 3 years now, I've been traveling.
So you travel the world. Do you have any favorite houses being on tour that you love just to go by each year around?
Well, yeah, I kind of like Bud Moore's place, Bill Moore's place down in Virginia. That's where I won my national title. He has 2 alleys in the basement. That's where I won it.
In the basement?
Yes.
I haven't seen one of those yet. Is it it's a full house too?
No, the house is at another place.
Okay.
And the finals are at the house.
Nice. So you've been on tour since 1981.
Well, no, I dropped out after that and got a job with the electric company.
Oh, okay.
I worked swing shift for 30 years. Then I got back into bowling on the tour, just hitting regionals and whatnot about 6 or 7 years ago. And then I retired 3 years ago and started full-time on the national tour.
Okay, so you've a little bit been on and off since 81, right. I guess. Awesome. Ronald, you got anything for Dave?
No, I don't really at this time
okay.
have anything for him. You ever seen the Hallmark shoes, Dave?
No, I haven't.
Have you heard about them at all?
I've heard them through this channel, yes.
Oh, okay, awesome. And who are you on staff with? Hammer, I'm taking
Hammer,
it.
Yes.
Hammer. And what are some of the new bowling balls they got coming out or just came out with right now?
A Hammerhead. Yep, that's a wonderful ball. I just got mine drilled. I can't wait to use it this week. I'm going to Galleon this weekend. That's one of you guys is from, I guess.
Okay. Sweet, sweet. Do they ever? So I'm from Maryland. Do they have any tour stops in Maryland for y'all, or around the area that you know of?
No, I don't believe there's any this year.
Okay.
I'm sure they have regionals, but the national tour they hit and miss different areas.
Okay. And how many titles do you have? Did you say?
I've got 2 regional and 1 national.
2 regional and 1 national. And where was your national at?
In Virginia.
In Virginia. That's right. That's right. And is it set up the same way as like the PBA tour where you break down to the last 5 left and it's like a step ladder match?
Yeah. Yes.
It is. It is.
Yep.
Awesome. And what seed did you go into when you went to that, your first national title?
What?
What seed were you? Were you 1, 2, 3?
Number 1.
You was number 1, so you just had 1 match to bowl.
Yes.
So you pretty much dominated that tournament, I guess.
Well, I was pretty fortunate. I was the way it works is when you get down to the last 8, the people that win are automatically in the top 5.
Okay.
The highest loser goes to 5th. Well, the man I happened to bowl was the highest winner that was left in the top 8, and I beat him. So that's what gave me number 1 qualifier. And he was number 5, Michael Haugen.
Nice, nice. And what year was that?
That was 22.
Oh, 22.
Yes.
Sweet, sweet. So who are some of the big hitters in the PBA Tour 50 right now?
You've got Tom Hess, Pete Weber, Chris Barnes, Parker Bone. You got a lot of big names.
Right, and you bowled all those guys.
Yes.
You got Walter Ray is there too.
Yes, Walter Ray's there.
Last year when we went to St. Joseph for the regional tournament, we had Walter Ray and Chris Barnes were both there. Michael Haggett was there. I don't know who all else was.
Tom Haggett, probably.
Well, it seemed like it was a PBA 50 or God, what do I say? It seemed like all the top names from the PBA 50 national tour was there. You had a guy by the name of Steve Bonavec or something like that.
Yes.
There. I paired up with him.
Yeah.
Now there's no 2-handers in the 50. Is there any 2-handers?
Oh, yeah.
There is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In fact, that tournament there, JR, Walter Ray was bowling 2-handed.
Nice. Yeah, that's the one I think of when I remember seeing some videos posted, a couple of years ago of him, bowling 2-handed. Awesome, man. So you got any, so let us know, man, some cool stories being on tour. Anything interesting that comes to your head?
Well, about 6, 7 years ago, I told my wife at the time, we're no longer married, but I told her I had something on my bucket list.
Okay.
Said, what's that? And I said, I want to get a PBA 300. And in 1981, I had 2 299s. And the PBA gives you a gold ring for the first one, and then they put a diamond in it for 12 after that.
Okay.
So she said, what do you got to do? I said, I got to shoot a 300 in competition. She said, well, let's do it. I said, well, it's easier said than done. So I bowled a PBA 50 in Galleon and made the final, so I rejoined the PBA. And Mother's Day weekend of that year, there was a regular regional over in Kankakee, Illinois. So I told my wife, I says, let's pick up my son in Toledo. We'll go over and have a good weekend.
Right.
So we did. 5-game qualifier. I shot 124 over for 5 games, missed the cut by 30-some pins. But they're going to have a rebuy on Sunday for $90. They're taking 1 gal a rebuy for the finals. So I told her I'm going to come back the next day and bowl the finals. Bowl the rebuy with a different ball and move inside. Well, on Saturday, there was a special needs kid there, about 15 years old, that was the honorary marshal of the tournament. So Tom Hess gave him a bowl and a ball each sign. Another guy gave him a shirt. He had a pin going around. Guys were signing it. The next day, he was there. Tournament started. I couldn't miss in practice. So tournament starts. I start pitching the ball. I shoot 189 in the first game. My son says, Dad, we're going to go to Menards, see what they got on sale. I said, David, wait a minute. I'm going to go move my feet 10 boards right, see what I got.
Right.
I shot 245, 300, 300, 248.
Mm.
Oh
So
man.
this kid comes up to me. He says, "Mr. Johnson, can you show me how to shoot a 300?" I said, "What's your name?" He says, Tim Siebert. I said, "Tim, have you ever had a 300 game?" He said, "No, I haven't, but I'm going to Special Olympics. I'd like to learn how to do that." So I told his mom, I said, "You give me his name and address, I'll send him a 300 ring." She said, "You will?" I said, "Absolutely." So long story short, the final, I top qualifier for that rebuy. The finals, they threw all the pins out. You bowled 3 more games to seed you 1 through 12. I couldn't catch more than a double.
Uh,
I shoot like 6'11". I qualify 11th. So I got to bowl the 6th place guy or 5th place guy. Top 4 got to buy. So I got the 5th place guy. I shoot 300 against him. So I roll 300s in 9 games. Right. The next game I lose. I get home. I mail that kid a ring. Month goes by. I tell my wife, I said, "Get a hold of that bowling line. Make sure that kid got his ring."
right.
So I hear her on the phone. She's talking. And I said, "What's going on?" She says, "You talk to him." So I got the phone. I said, "Ma'am, all we want to make sure is Tim got his ring." She said, "Sir, we have no idea who the kid was." I said, "What do you mean? How can it be? It was your tournament, and he was honorary marshal of the tournament." She said, "He made himself the honorary marshal of the tournament." So she said, "We wouldn't even know his name if you didn't tell us." So I hung up disappointed, of course.
Right.
So 2 weeks later, I get an envelope in the mail. Says postage due $1.38. I open it. The letter in there says, "Dear Dave, thank you for the ring. Enjoy the medal. Or enjoy the medal, Tim." That boy went to the Special Olympics, won a gold medal, and sent me the medal.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's the picture I sent Ron.
Okay.
I have it framed in my living room.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
That's what it's about.
Yeah. So you're thinking the whole time, like he didn't get the ring. Where's my
Right.
ring at? And then all of a sudden
Right.
you get a letter, and he's like, "Here's my gold medal for you."
Yes, it's awesome.
That is awesome, man.
Yep.
Whew. Yeah.
And
Sorry.
if you don't mind, JR,
Yeah.
I think last year, Dave went and bowled in a pro-am. I don't know where it was at or anything. I know that Dave sent me
It was this
on the notification. Dave, maybe you ought to tell it because you were the one that done it, but it was very cool.
In Crawfordsville. It was a special needs pro-am, which they do every year, and I love it.
Right.
So I happened to bowl with a young girl. She's probably 13 or 14, left-hander, and it was a no-tap tournament. So I had the first 11. I told her, I said, "Have you ever had a 300 game?" I knew she hadn't, She said, "No, I haven't." I said, "Well, you're going to have one now." So I said, "You're going to shoot my 12th ball." She said, "I can't." She was shaking so bad. She got up there, and she threw one of the best balls I've seen her throw for 9. So we got 300.
Nice.
So I told her mom, I said, "Give me your address. I want to send her a 300 ring." And I did. And Ron got to see the video where her opening the ring. She loved it.
Nice.
Yeah.
She was in tears. Very good.
I could just imagine. So how many? It's probably hard for you to count, but how many 300s do you think you got total in your life between like regular leagues and on tour?
From what I've kept track, is 75 300s.
Phew. Nice. 75 300. And what is your highest set ever?
858.
858.
Yep.
And now, JR, as we were talking to try and get this done up and everything, Dave sent me a message and he says, I'm not a top PBA guy. And it's like, oh, yeah, you are. You want to.
Oh, I'm not.
Yeah. And he had cataract surgery done on his eyes. I can't tell you how long ago it was, maybe 6 months ago or so, Dave.
December and January.
Okay. And the guys that read that message, they went and said, "Oh my God, we better watch out now because Dave."
Is your vision a lot better now? I take it.
I can't wait to get out there. I really can't.
Right. When's the next season kickoff next year, I guess, or
It starts May 4th in Fort Myers, Florida.
May 4th? That's my birthday.
Yeah.
Well, go out and win one for me.
We're going to Galling this weekend for a regional.
Nice. Corey, we got Corey Hansen in here. What a great accomplishment, right. Dave. Nice. All right, Dave. So, do you bowl regular league at all, like outside the tour?
I bowl one league. It's 30 miles away from me in Pennsylvania, and it's a PBA shot league. Every 3 weeks we change the shot.
Okay.
It's doubles league, we bowl 4 games a night, and that's all I bowl for league.
I got you. So I take it you got kids? Do they bowl and all that? Are they into bowling?
My daughter bowls. My son used to bowl. He quit bowling. I won't elaborate on that.
Right. No, it's great. Yeah, my son quit too. I had him bowling at the beginning, then he kind of fell out of it. I was like, all right.
99 once. She had covered in hives.
Okay.
She said, I don't know how you can put up with it. I could never do it.
Nice. So right now, let us know what's in your arsenal. What kind? How many balls do you carry when you go on tour? I guess is it 12 to 18 or?
Well, when I started out 3 years ago, I left with 23 bowling balls.
23.
And when I got home, I realized I only used about 9.
Okay.
So the following year, I cut down to like 18. And when I got home, I realized I only used about 8, probably. So this year, I'm going to cut down to about 15, I hope.
Okay.
See what happens. But I've come up with 2 layouts that I like the best, and I've put that on all my stuff. So the difference would be the cover stock or the weight block.
Right.
You know?
Yep.
So they should roll the same pretty much.
Nice. Do you have a favorite ball of all time? Something you wish you still had, or anything like that, or?
Well, of course, your favorite stuff's going to be what you won with.
True.
There's no doubt about it.
Yep.
But I'll tell you, it's been a godsend for Hammer to put me on staff.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
The guys out there help so much. I mean, they watch what other people are throwing, and they tell you what you may need. You know, it's awesome.
Yeah. Have you ever met Bill O'Neill?
Oh,
you
yeah.
ever ran across him?
Yeah, I've met Bill.
Nice. All right, let's see here. What else we got for you? If y'all got questions for him too, and all the viewers, ask away. So let's see here. So do you enjoy anything out? Do you have any other hobbies outside of bowling that you enjoy doing, or is it just bowling?
Yes, I do, but
okay.
It's not a good one. Casinos.
What is it?
Casinos.
Okay. Yeah.
I've been to a bunch of them cross country, you
know. It can be bad or good, you know.
Absolutely, no doubt.
It looks like.
Are there a lot of viewers?
What we got right now? We got 6 right now in here.
Well, if anyone's interested and it's on their bucket list to bowl in a PBA event, a friend of mine in Lorraine, Rick Zakrychek at Redmond Rec, is having a qualifier.
Yeah.
For a PBA event. You can earn an entry for a PBA event. It's $80 and it's April 12th at 2 p.m.
And where's that at?
It's in Lorraine, Ohio.
Ohio.
It's going to be at the house where the tournaments are going to be.
Okay.
You can earn a spot for either the regular PBA event that's going to be held May 16th and 17th, or the PBA 50 July 28th and 30th.
How many spots do they hold for that?
They 1 in 5.
Okay, or is it like a cutoff? Like 250 can sign up, or is there like a cutoff for that?
There's no limit.
No limit. Okay.
I think last year they provided enough for 33 spots.
Nice.
That's a lot.
The name of the place is Redmond Recreation.
Redmond's Rec, yes.
Yeah. It's a nice bowling center.
It
Is
is
it?
a house. It's very nice. Yes.
Awesome. Well, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to go back and watch this.
And
So
if you're not a member, it's $310 to enter one of those tournaments.
310 to enter.
Whereas you can get one now for $80 in that qualifier.
Right, right. Has there ever been a cool story where, let's say, like an average Joe who's like, you know what, I'm going to pay $320 enter this tournament and actually made it to TV? Has that ever happened before?
That was me.
That was you.
22. Yes.
Oh, okay.
I was a nobody.
There it is. It was Dave Johnson. I knew it was somebody.
I was a nobody.
Okay, okay. Oh, so you just got back into the tour in 22.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
I got you now. Well, that's a cool story. They're probably like, who the heck's this guy?
Yeah,
Well, I'm pretty sure people knew you.
He I don't think he lost anything when he was off, though. He's still right up there.
Were you already on staff with Hammer when you went to that?
No.
Okay.
Funny story, in fact. After I won that title, Pete Weber asked me if I was on tour. I was on staff, and I said, no, I'm not. I said, I have 23 pieces of your equipment in my car, but I'm not on staff. Never give me anything, you know?
Right.
So he said, do you mind if I talk to the Storm about getting you on staff? I said, no, absolutely. I'd love it.
Right.
Well, then we were bowling in Michigan, and this is months later, and I got done qualifying. I came across the street to the hotel, and Jeff Johnson, who's a ball rep for Hammer for Brunswick, he says to me, he says, how'd you do, Dave? I said, I made a cut. He said, good. He says, would you change ball companies? I said, what do you mean? He says, you always throw in Roto Grip and Storm, and you have a Columbia shirt on now. I said, Jeff, I just grabbed the shirt out of the closet. I'm not on staff with anybody.
All right, you're a free agent.
He said, you got to be kidding me. I said, no. He said, do you want to be on staff? I said, absolutely. Within a week, I was on staff with him.
Awesome.
Unreal. I mean.
Right. So you think helping winning that tournament kind of helped you out too? Get your name out there, I guess?
Absolutely. No doubt.
Yeah. Here's a question from Corey. How does one achieve the bowl PBA 50 and what are the requirements? Are there requirements?
Yeah, they say that you need to average 200.
Okay.
In 2 leagues. Yes.
That should be easy nowadays, with the way the life.
Yes.
They probably should raise it up a little bit, in my opinion. But okay. You got anything, Ronald? Anything on your mind, my co-host, for tonight?
Well, I really don't.
Well, you bring me Dave Johnson. What was your reason you wanted to get him on the show?
Yeah, for real. Why do you want me on here?
Well, it wasn't to get him any publicity because
he ain't gonna get much for this show.
I just wanted to get a top PBA bowler on the show, hoping that what?
Still haven't.
Yeah, you're wrong there, Dave. So that maybe we could get some more followers for the show and everything.
Yeah.
I look at Dave as a friend. We don't talk a whole lot, but we have been talking a little bit more lately, and I figured he would be a great one to be on the show.
No, definitely.
What I really wanted to have is I was really hoping that we could also have Patrick Dombrowski on there too, but with him doing the tour and stuff, he's up in Detroit. He's up in Detroit this week, and he told me to give it a couple weeks when things slow down.
Yeah, he's bowling phenomenal too.
Oh yes, it's as of this morning, he was sitting second, and I can't remember now, but
I think he's
after today, he was like. Was he in the top 10, Dave? Or
I think he's sixth.
Yeah, that's what. Yes, sixth because he was just out of the top 5. Yep, but he is doing phenomenal.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I've had him on a couple of episodes actually. Dom, Team Coasters, but yeah, if we get him back on, that'd be awesome. Had Sean Rash on, Matt Ogle. We had a few Now we had Dave Johnson. You're our first PBA over 50 guy on here.
Look at that.
Say, look at that. We'll always remember you.
3 years. That ain't bad.
You got
That
another first there, Dave. And another reason that I wanted to have Dave on there is when I met him at St. Joe, Michigan last year. He was a very nice guy to us. And another thing is that my wife was with me, and I told Dave this right after the tournament was over with. I messaged him and told him, but my wife goes to the tournaments with me every now and then. She don't go all the time. And she kind of feels like that she's not very welcome or anything. And I sent Dave a message about that. And he said, oh, no, she's always welcome. And that just kind of started a friendship between me and Dave. But the way it all got started is he parks behind me out there at St. Joe. And he said hi to me, and I was shocked and I was stunned that somebody actually said hi to me. And then we talked a little bit when we got into the bowling alley and everything. And
Did you get his autograph?
No, I didn't get his autograph because
Right.
I've had people ask me if I can get certain people's autographs when I bowl against them and stuff. And my comment to them is, do you think I'm crazy? Do you think I'm actually going to go and ask for somebody's autograph when I'm a competitor against that?
Right. Yep. I agree with you.
Because they're going to sit there and they're going to laugh
Yeah,
off
yeah.
of me.
I agree with you.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to do that.
Yeah, exactly. So no, that's why I didn't get the autograph. But
Nah, yeah, it was a joke.
I know it was, but
You, though,
I'm pretty sure that.
Ron,
What's that, Dave?
I'll tell you one thing you can do. You can take a bowling pin, and the guys will sign it for you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. There was a tournament, and I can't remember where it was at, Dave. But they had a red pin that they wanted all of the bowlers to autograph, and then they were going to auction it off after the tournament was over with and stuff.
Right.
It was someplace in Ohio, but I can't remember where it was at. Maybe Cuyahoga Falls.
Might have been Bowling Green.
Oh, that could be too. Yeah, that could
Bowling
be too.
Green, big.
I know that Patrick was there, and I can't remember who the other person was that had their picture taken with the red pin.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was someplace in Ohio.
Yeah.
But
Nice.
Dave is a good guy, and I wanted people to see him and get to know a little bit about him on what he does and everything, because and Dave says, well, that's what we should all do, you know. But I can tell you one thing right now. I have been close to 300 games a bunch, but I have never got one. And for me to actually go and give a 300 ring away when I haven't had one yet, that takes a lot, you know.
Well, I'll give you some information that I got as a young child. My father always told me, Dave, never fear who you bowl. He said, if you do your job, which is knocking 10 pins down a frame, nobody in this world can beat you.
True.
And I live by that.
Yeah.
I don't fear any man on the lanes.
You shouldn't.
I bowl the pins. I don't bowl the person.
Yeah. That's what I love about bowling. Only you can beat yourself. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's what I do all the time is beat.
Well, so do I. You know, some nights I beat myself down, but you know, every once in a while.
At nights I come home and just want to beat my head on the wall, you know. Well, why all this?
Yeah. Have you ever had any rough nights, Dave, where it kind of like just lingered? You know, the next day you're just thinking like, man.
Everybody has them, but they don't bother me.
Right.
I don't let them bother me.
Yeah.
This game has no bearing on the next.
Right.
This frame has no bearing on the next.
Yeah.
you got to have a short memory, and I think maybe Dave's might be a little bit short when it comes to that, because you got to forget about the last ball you threw.
Absolutely, no doubt.
Yeah. But I will say this. It looks to me like Dave's a pretty darn good cook, because I've seen some of his meals and stuff, and I've kept telling him, sorry, I missed supper, or you mail it to Michigan, you know.
I'm single, Ron, and look at my size. I'm not small, and I'm single.
Yeah.
So I take it he's a pretty good cook. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Some of the meals.
Hopefully sometime this year, him and I are going to get connected up at a tournament where we can actually hopefully have a little bit of time after practice and go out and eat some supper somewhere and
we will
spend a little bit more time together. And I know the other night I talked to him about going to Westland to the national tour. They got a tournament up there at Vision Lanes, and I told my wife, I said, because I can drive back and forth from Westland to home. It's only about an hour and a half or so. And I told my wife, I said, you can go back up to Detroit with me when I go to Westland and bowl in the national tournament, and we can take Dave out for supper and stuff. And she looked at me and she said, well, that would be fine, but I don't want you to just blow $500 again. And it seems like Dave and the guys, they enjoy taking my money, you know?
Not that at all.
Yeah.
Hey, it's his living. He's got to get the money. Oh, all right, man. Well, I think that's going to do it. Any do you have any social medias people can follow you at, or you're not into that? Any bowling pages? Nothing.
I'm not into that. Nope.
Okay. And
I'll befriend anybody on Facebook. Other than that,
that's about it.
I post all the time about my bowling. So
okay. And now, say when the tour starts back up, and where can we find a PBA 50 to watch that? Do they have something where it's televised?
Bowl TV.
Bowl TV.
It is the best thing going, let me tell you.
Okay.
It's like $120 for the year, and they do every PBA event, every PBA women's event, all the collegiates, all the PBA 50s. They do them all.
Nice. And what I heard is also, I don't know if this is true, but when you have it, you can actually pick out a certain lane you want to watch.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. That's amazing. They got a camera for every
awesome.
lane.
It's unreal. It really is.
I was going to say, if I understood it right, if I understood it right, Dave, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they broadcast every single game, every single person, and you just basically have to click on the lanes that person is on. Is that not right?
No, it's not correct, because
okay,
you can bowl a tournament, you could be on screen for 3 of those games. 3 games you may be off.
Okay.
How big the tournament is, they only have so many cameras to go.
Okay.
So, but sometimes you'll be on it every time, depending on the size of the tournament, you know.
Right, and how good you are. If you're like a star.
Well, that has nothing to do with how good you are.
Oh, okay. Well, all right, let's see here. All right, man. Well, I want to thank you for taking your time to join us tonight.
No problem.
Now, Dave, you said you haven't seen any of the Hallmark shoes?
No, I haven't.
Well, then when I run into you, I'll show you a pair of the Hallmark shoes. I'm assuming that you got to wear Brunswick because you're under staff with.
My daughter just commented.
Huh?
My daughter just commented.
She did. Commentary is great too on Bowl TV.
Yes, it is.
That's why you've been getting on there and saying about it then, because I know you're pretty impressed with it, and I've never seen it.
Hopefully it's better than the TV shows. Good God. Nah, they're fine.
It's awesome. It really is.
Nice.
They're covering this whole tournament now that they're doing with the USBC.
Are they? Okay.
Yes.
I've always thought about getting in.
Yes, yesterday in the USBC, there was a guy that he threw more than 2 gutter balls, but he threw 2 of them back to back.
Oh, I seen that. Yeah.
Sure, yep.
Yeah. It's like, what in the world is he doing there?
Yep.
It happens.
It does happen, no doubt.
I seen Belmo Bowl 130 something on TV in the finals. I was like, oh man, yeah.
It happens, no doubt.
Yeah.
You got to shake it off.
Yeah.
That's all you can do.
How different? I hear like when you're on TV, how different are the lanes affected? You know what I mean? From regular tournament to you get to the final 5. Did it affect?
I didn't find much difference.
Okay.
And when we left the bowling alley as compared to the basement, because they tried to get it as close as they could. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I still use the same equipment, so it worked out.
Is this your son?
Yep, that's my son.
I got the family in here. Thank y'all for joining tonight. He said, I don't know anyone who has thrown gutter balls back to back.
Yeah, my son says that because he must want me to mention him.
Oh man,
they used to have a Keystone tour.
Okay.
Here in Ohio. Okay. When my son was young, I took him on the Keystone tour, and he led the qualifier, averaged like 250. He's walking around with his chest stuck out like you wouldn't believe.
Right.
Waiting for the step ladder. He gets up in the step ladder. He's top seed, and the first 4 or 5 balls were gutter balls.
Oh, man.
He lost his footing. He's Dad, I don't know how to get to the line. I'm all messed up. I was rolling. I was laughing so hard. I said, walk around there with your chest stuck out. You can't even.
All right. Forgot how to walk.
Yeah, that's memories.
Yeah. Nice.
I don't think
all right.
Sense.
All right. He hung it up after that.
Yep.
Oh man. All right, man. So any closing words? I don't know if you know what a shout out is, but any shout outs you want to give to the people out there? Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Everybody enjoy the game.
There you go.
I love it.
Yes, sir. And I forgot to do this, so I'll end the show with this. Usually I make intro videos for every show. Ronald, how did you forget? I start the show off with the intro, but I forgot it.
You what now, JR?
I forgot the intro. You know how I do an intro for every show?
Yep.
Yeah, somehow I forgot it. So we're going to end the show with the intro.
Marvelous.
Yeah, that's how we're going to end the show today. So everybody, make sure follow Dave. He's going to be on the tour soon.
If they see me out there, come up and say hi.
You seem like a nice guy.
He will definitely talk to you. That is for sure. He's one of the great guys that we have out there. That he's not afraid to talk to anybody. He is a lot different than like your. And I don't mean to say anything bad or anything, but he's a lot different than like Chris Barnes and Walter Ray and some of the other guys that we bowl with. And now this year we got Tom Doherty coming in, and
they're getting better.
Yeah, I ran into Chris Barnes. I was surprised, but yeah. But you know, it was cool. I met, not to cut you off, Guppy. I met Guppy like a few years ago. Yeah. That dude's cool, man.
He's a riot.
He is.
For sure, yep.
Oh man! All right, Dave. So when you win a title this year, we're gonna have to get you back on the show for sure. So
I hope to get back here then.
Oh, but I have a feeling you are, man. So once you do, I'm going to have Ronald hit you up, and we're going to get you on.
Appreciate it.
No problem, sir. Thank you again. And everybody joining tonight, make sure you hit that like, subscribe button. And we're going to hit you with this intro. We'll see you next week. All right, brother.
How much dough can a brother make endorsing a pair of these? It'd be like, hi, I'm Donnell Washington from Bowler. Whenever I'm about to roll me a 300 game, I like to do it in these Air Ghettos.
Trade those Air Ghettos in for some Air Hellos with the new Hallmark bowling shoe Night Fires. Visit them today at hallmarkshoes.com.
This is Sean Rash, and you are watching Behind the Lane.